The calm before the storm. The battlefield in eastern Ukraine has taken a shocking turn. As the first rays of dawn stretched across the vast plains, a deep mechanical roar began to roll through the countryside. The sound grew louder, heavier, until the landscape trembled beneath it. Dozens of Russian motorcycle troops, fast, heavily armed, and confident, tore down the narrow dirt roads that cut through open farmland. Their engines growled in unison, the scent of fuel and dust filling the morning air. The men shouted over the noise, their spirits high, believing this would be another quick and easy advance. Their mission was simple: push through the rural outskirts, regroup with armored units further ahead, and secure the flanks before Ukrainian reinforcements could arrive. The motorcycles were meant to symbolize speed, shock, and surprise, a rapid strike force capable of cutting deep into contested zones. But what they didn't know was that hundreds of meters above, the silent eyes of Ukraine's Azov Brigade drones were already watching. Far from the roar of engines, inside a dimly lit control station hidden within the trees, a group of Azov operators monitored every movement. Their screens displayed high-resolution thermal feeds, each blip a soldier, each dot a potential target. Calm voices exchanged data, coordinates were logged, patterns of movement were analyzed. To the Russians below, the world seemed calm. To the Azov team above, the battlefield was already alive. Every step, every rotation of a wheel, marked for destruction. The sky awakens. As the motorcycles rolled deeper into open terrain, their confidence turned into a fatal mistake. The road stretched endlessly between golden fields, offering no cover and no escape. The bright morning sun exposed every movement, every shadow. Inside the Azov command room, the operators adjusted their screens. Drone feeds flickered with movement. Perfect visibility, perfect timing. "Target zone clear," one operator murmured. "Range locked," another replied. The order came through. "Execute." Moments later, a launch tube hissed. Small drones, no bigger than a bird, shot into the air, slicing through the wind. They climbed swiftly, their electric motors barely audible. Within seconds, they vanished into the blue, invisible to those below. Each drone carried a deadly payload, a shaped charge designed to pierce armor or detonate fuel tanks with surgical precision. They weren't random strikes. Each one had a designated target, a specific motorcycle, a specific soldier. From the ground, the Russian column pressed on. The men chatted over their radios, unaware that a new sound had joined the wind, a faint mechanical hum high above them. Then came the first strike. A single explosion shattered the calm. The lead motorcycle erupted in a fireball, flinging its rider into the air. Shock rippled through the convoy. Engines roared as troops instinctively accelerated, unsure where the attack was coming from. "Ambush! Move! Move!" shouted one of the commanders. But it was already too late. Fire and chaos. The next explosion came seconds later, then another. The drones began their assault in waves. Some struck directly from above, others swooped low across the fields before diving toward their targets at blinding speed. Each hit sent debris flying and riders sprawling across the dirt. The once disciplined convoy descended into chaos. Soldiers abandoned their motorcycles, diving into ditches and behind burning wrecks. The radio channels erupted with confusion, voices shouting, overlapping, desperate. "Where are they hitting from? They're above us. They're everywhere. Get cover! Get cover now!" But there was no cover. The open plains offered nowhere to hide. From above, the Azov operators watched the entire scene unfold in real time. On their monitors, heat signatures glowed red against the landscape. One operator tracked a soldier sprinting across the field. A small crosshair followed his movement. A quick confirmation, a click, and another explosion blossomed in the distance. Each operator was calm, composed, focused. This was their battlefield, silent, digital, controlled through precision and timing. Within minutes, what had been a roaring column of motorcycles was reduced to a burning trail of wreckage. The dirt road was littered with twisted metal, fuel tanks leaking flames, and the sound of gunfire fading into panic. The new face of war. This attack was more than a simple ambush. It was a glimpse into the future of modern warfare. A war defined not by manpower or armor, but by information, intelligence, and the sky. The Azov Brigade's drones, small, agile, and devastatingly accurate, represented a new kind of power. They could be launched from anywhere, guided by a few skilled operators with laptops and headsets capable of striking with more precision than traditional artillery. Every drone that took off from that hidden Ukrainian position cost less than a single bulletproof vest, yet each one could destroy an entire vehicle or neutralize a squad. For the Russian troops, this new reality was terrifying. The battlefield they once dominated through numbers and firepower was now a digital trap. Every movement risked being seen. Every sound could give away their position. Even their motorcycles, once symbols of speed and aggression, had become beacons for destruction. The open terrain that promised mobility now became a death zone, and the more they moved, the more they were seen. Shadows and strategy. As the battle raged, Azov's command center remained eerily quiet. Only the faint beeps of radar, the whir of cooling fans, and the measured breathing of the operators broke the silence. Each pilot managed multiple drones simultaneously, scanning, striking, adjusting course, and relaying coordinates to nearby artillery units. Above the battlefield, the swarm moved like a living organism. Some drones hovered to provide surveillance, others carried explosives for follow-up strikes. A few were tasked with blocking escape routes, anticipating where survivors might flee. It wasn't chaos, it was choreography. Every drone, every strike, every explosion followed a pattern, orchestrated with military precision. By the time the dust began to settle, dozens of motorcycles lay scattered across the countryside. Smoke curled into the sky like dark ribbons, and the fields that once echoed with the roar of engines now lay silent. The Azov operators marked the final coordinates, took their screenshots for intelligence reports, and shut down their systems. "Mission complete," said the commander. A murmur of acknowledgement passed through the room. No celebration, just quiet efficiency. Lessons of the sky. The attack on the motorcycle troops sent shockwaves through Russian communication channels. Reports flooded in, claims of airstrikes, sabotage, and even betrayal. But one truth stood above all. The drones had changed everything. In modern warfare, visibility is death. The side that controls the sky, even with small, low-cost drones, dominates the battlefield. The Azov Brigade's success was not built on brute force, but on innovation and adaptability. Each mission refined their strategy, teaching them how to strike faster, smarter, and more efficiently. They learned how to exploit enemy habits, predict movements, and strike when fear was at its peak. This was psychological warfare as much as physical destruction. Every drone that buzzed overhead reminded Russian soldiers that they were never safe, not on the front lines, not even miles behind them. And as word of the ambush spread across the region, Russian convoys began to move slower, more cautiously, wasting precious time. Fear became a weapon, and the Azov Brigade wielded it masterfully. The aftermath. When the smoke finally cleared, the once mighty convoy was nothing more than a trail of scorched earth. Twisted frames, burned helmets, and shattered rifles lay scattered across the dirt. The few survivors staggered away on foot, leaving behind their vehicles and fallen comrades. For the Ukrainian side, the mission was a success. The ambush had crippled another Russian advance and demonstrated the lethal precision of Ukraine's drone warfare units. Intelligence officers quickly analyzed the footage, identifying patterns and planning for future strikes. Every frame of video captured from the drone feeds became valuable. Each explosion a piece of tactical data, each heat signature a clue for what might come next. Ukraine's military evolution was clear. This was not just defense, but dominance through technology. The message. As the day came to an end, the sky glowed orange from the setting sun. In the distance, more drones ascended quietly into the air, continuing their silent patrols. For the Azov operators, there was no rest. Their work was constant. Monitor, strike, repeat. Each mission carried the same message. No convoy is safe. No road is hidden. No enemy unseen. The age of armored dominance had ended. The age of the drone had begun. If you want to stay updated on every major event shaping the battlefield, from daring drone ambushes to frontline breakthroughs, subscribe now to Delta History. Join us as we uncover the untold stories of modern warfare, explore the tactics reshaping global conflict, and witness how technology is changing the face of battle forever. This is Delta History, where every war story comes alive.